Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got a fun one for you with the most fun commanders to build right now. Let's jump into it. First up, we've got Gregor, Shrewd, Magistrate. Now, this commander is one that is an absolute blast to play, and one that can be, well, absolutely unexpected and forgotten, I would say. Many players forget about this commander and don't realize the power potential of it. It's a 1/3 human advisor for 3 mana and Azorius. It's got Skulk, so it can't be blocked by creatures with greater power, which is nice to start. It's a good way early on in the game to get some hits in and to draw some cards. Because when it deals common damage to a player, you draw cards equal to its power. Now, with that, of course, there are plenty of ways to take advantage of that at a higher power level. So, of course, you can definitely utilize a lot of effective ways to gain a lot of card advantage and to use those cards in some really fun ways. When it comes to some cards that work well with this commander, first up, Duelist Heritage is a great one. Enchant for 3 mana in white. Whenever one or more creatures attack, you may have target attacking creature gain double strike until end of turn. First of all, a great political card, because you can say, hey opponent, if you're going to attack them instead of me, and I'll give it double strike. Cool, good for you. That being said, of course, with this commander specifically, giving it double strike does not negate that Skulk again, where it's like, okay, like it's not increasing power. You can still get through on some opponents you wouldn't be able to get through on, but you are getting that trigger twice on a hit. And of course, there are other triggers that we can take advantage of as well when we're hitting opponents too, and this doubles them up as well, doubling up our card advantage just overall though. Of course, when it comes to Skulk, you don't need to worry about that if you've got other ways to make your commander unblockable or near unblockable. Prowler's Helm is an amazing one. Equipped creature can be blocked except by walls. Now, unless you're playing against all Erixmathes, decks essentially, walls, tribal, then yeah, you might be in trouble if you're doing that. But most of the time, you're not going to be doing that. The vast majority of decks out there have absolutely 0 walls in them. Basically, this is unblockability for your commander. So then you can take advantage of things like, well, Imperial Plate. +1/+1 for each card in your hand. Yeah, again, this is a commander that draws based off of power when you deal damage. And this one also gives you some more cards for your hand. So yeah, while you are going like, oh yeah, I've got 7 cards in my hand. Okay, cool. I hit. Now all of a sudden I've got 14 cards in my hand. Lovely. And with Double Strike, of course, that would make it so it's a one-shot KO as well. It's just going to grow throughout the game. Definitely a fun commander that can give you an absurd amount of card advantage. Moving on, an oldie but a goodie, and with these kind of like old commanders like this, Feldergriff, some players out there just like completely ignore them. They're like, they gotta be garbage if they look like they're old. Like, they can't be good from that a long time ago. I'm here to tell you Selenia is a great one, even though you might not expect it. A 3/3 legend, I mean, I believe it's like an angel, right? They errated it at this point. For 5 mana and Orzhov flying, it counts as an angel. There you go. Back in the day where I had actually, mentioned that. Pay 2 life, return it back to its owner's hand. So yeah, this again, you might just be like, okay, it's a 3/3 flyer that you can bounce back to your hand for life loss. Okay, why would I want to play that? Here's the thing. That is an ability that, if you're a newer player, you might not realize you can activate that as many times as you want. Now, obviously, you've got to go, okay, I activate this ability. In response, I activate this ability. You just got to keep, like, stacking it, before any of them resolve, basically. And then also, as a new player, you're like, why would I want to keep losing life? Here's the thing. It's a good thing. Being able to go down to, 2 or 1 life, depending on if you're an even or odd number, is an amazing thing. Being able to just drop your life total down unexpectedly and go, oh yeah, by the way, I'm at basically nothing. Your opponents are going to be in trouble when you do that. Because of some amazing cards like Axis of Mortality. That's right, a life swap strategy is so much fun, and one that can really take opponents out of nowhere. Again, they could be in the biggest, best situation in the entire game. They can have the most life out of everyone. And all of a sudden you're like, no, your life is swapped with mine. Now you're at 1, and I'm at 40. Thank you. Beginning of your upkeep, you may have 2 target players exchange life totals. Axis of Mortality, an amazing, repeatable life swap effect. Or you can take everyone down to your level. Repay in kind. Hey, everyone's life total becomes the lowest life total among players. Again, you set yourself down to 1. You can take everyone down to 1. And then all of a sudden, even like a Sign in Blood can take those opponents out. Any kind of effect can basically take anyone out. Or, again, a card like, Children of Corliss, you can play with, losing life, gaining life. things like Sanguine Bond, being able to just go, oh, I gain a bunch of life, oh, I get this effect, oh, I gain a bunch of life, I get that effect. Jill, of course, a great one. A 1/1 Human Rebel Cleric that says, sacrifice it, you gain life, your life you've lost this turn. Basically a way to reset your life on that turn. Yeah, it's kind of like a fog frog as well, spore frog kind of as well, when you need it, but also it's just like, oh yeah, I went from 40 down to 2, back up to 40, I just gained 38 life. Okay, yeah, plenty of great things you can do with that. Moving forward, Ellie and Alan, paleontologists, a 2/5 human scientist for 5 mana in Bant. Tap exile a creature card from your graveyard, discover X, X the mana value of the exiled card, activate only as a sorcery. And again, discover means exiles card from the top of your library to exile a non-land card with mana value or less, cast it without paying its mana cost, or put it in your hand, put the rest of your library in random order, kind of like Cascade-ish, basically, but potentially even better. This is one where you go, oh, okay, yeah, I just need to get big creatures in my graveyard, and then all of a sudden, I can go massive discover, free spells off the top of my library, ways to untap this, ways to get this extra in a turn. Yeah, you can do a lot of amazing things with this. I mean, just think of that adorable card, Titanoth Rex. Again, an 11/11 dinosaur beast with trample for 7 and green, so 9 mana in total. That's a lot of mana value right there for your commander to utilize when it's in your graveyard. And of course, you can very easily get it in your graveyard. You can cycle it away for just 2 mana. While you do so, get a trample counter on a creature control. That's very nice. But again, now, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, free, with the tap ability, free basically discover Cascade essentially value for 9. Oh my goodness. Or you can use other things like Colossal Sky Turtle, a 6/5 turtle with flying award, 2 for 7 mana. You can channel it away, so again, a way to discard it out of your hand. That, cycling, any of those types of effects that can actually just get these cards out of your hand can be absolutely amazing. Discard it, return target card from your graveyard to your hand for 3 mana in total, for 2 mana in total. Bounce target creature back to its owner's hand. Again, very effective, gives you a lot of value when you utilize it anyways, but also, of course, discover 7, yes please. And even more value, again, we already talked about, discover, but now also Cascade with Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty, a 3/1 Naga Druid with Cascade for 5 mana in Simic. And it's also got spells you cast convert mana cost 6 or greater have Cascade. Yeah, you're going to be discovering to Cascade, discover to Cascade, discover to Cascade. You get so much value out of all of this. You're going to have some pretty crazy turns. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. Old One Eye can definitely do that because, well, it's a 6/6 Tyrannid that has trample for 6 mana in green. Other creature can 12 trample. When it enters the battlefield, you make a 5/5 Tyrannid creature token, and it's got beginning of your pre-combat main phase. You can discard 2 cards. If you do, bring it back from your graveyard to your hand. So this is a commander that says, I am all about power. I am a 6/6 trampler. I give everything else trample. And by the way, I bring in a 5/5 with me. That's 11 total power across 2 bodies for just 6 mana, and also one that can get around commander attacks. If it hits your graveyard, you can get it back by discarding cards to get it back in your hand. So again, getting around that. And of course, taking advantage of certain things that actually want to be in your graveyard. Think Brawn, think cards like that essentially. But yeah, a great way to get a lot of power out very quickly. And of course, 2 supercharged creatures that normally wouldn't be able to get damage through, now you can. Like, I don't know, Gigantosaurus, a simple 10/10 dinosaur that is a vanilla creature. Again, literally nothing else on there. Except for flavor text. For 5 mana in green. Again, literally just a card that's like, okay, I get it out. I swing. Oh, I chump block with a 1/1. Oh, darn. Well, now you can't because my commander says no. Says I've got trample now. And of course, yeah, a 10/10 for this 5 mana with trample is much more valuable. Also, when it comes to trampling, Ghalta doesn't need that help, but that's okay. 12/12 Elder Dinosaur for 12 mana, but never going to cost that, especially for this commander. Costs X less to cast Rex, the total power of creatures you control, and of course, you got trample. But yeah, this is one where, again, you automatically get there with this commander. Again, literally just by playing this commander, you get 11 total power. That is already enough to knock down that generic mana to 0. So this just costs 2 mana in total. Again, big Stompy deck. So much fun with this commander. And of course, again, by getting a very solid 5/5 token in play, you can take advantage of Populate with full flowering and cards like it. Populate X time, sorcery for XX and a green. Again, basically for, well, every 2 mana plus, that initial 1 green mana. Every 2 mana, though, you are getting a 5/5. And of course, you're in green, the best ramp color, and yeah, you're going to get a lot of mana, dump a lot in there, and all of a sudden get this massive army of 5/5s to dominate the game. And again, 5/5s that have trample thanks to your commander. Now let's switch up strategies, though, with Wrexial, the Risen Deep, a 5/8 Kraken for 6 mana in total, and Dimir, Island Walk, Swamp Walk. So again, highly likely that this is going to be able to get through on your opponents. Again, blue and black are two of the more popular colors in Commander. I would say two of the more powerful colors in Commander too, with this Commander being, well, a great example of what you can do with that. It does say, hey, when it deals combination to a player, you may cast target instant source card from that player's graveyard without paying its mana cost. That card will be put into a graveyard for this turn. You exile it instead. This is a great way to, well, steal your opponent's things, but in an interesting way, right? Being able to go, okay, hey, my Commander's unblockable. It's coming through. And you've got an amazing instant in your graveyard. I'd like to utilize that. I've got a lot of value out of that. You were casting things for 3 throughout the game. And of course, there are ways to get even more value out of that. And to potentially guarantee that even if your players, that you're playing against aren't playing blue or black, that you can still get through. Because there are cards like Spreading Seas, an aura for 2 mana in blue, enchant land, enters the battlefield, draw a card. So this one cantrips for you, which is nice, replaces itself basically. Enchanted land is an island. Yeah, being able to make one of your opponent's lands into an island, number one, can slow them down if they've got like, this is my command tower, it fixes my mana, and you're like, okay, now it's an island. Oh no, now I just have for blue. Correct. But also now my commander is unblockable against you just by having this one thing attached to one of your lands. Yeah, that's quite devastating for that player. Of course, speaking of devastating though, Fire Shrieker, again, double strike coming in big with this commander. We've talked about in the past how, hey, yeah, you can really take advantage of commanders that hit and hit again now with double strike, and this is definitely one of those commanders. Double strike is great for this commander because now you don't just cast one card, you get to cast 2. Again, instant sorcery, whatever combination of that you want, get so much value out of this. And speaking of value, Traumatize. Cards like it that basically mill an insane amount, you're definitely going to want. Target player puts the top half of their library rounded down into their graveyard. Being able to do so goes, oh, look at this giant swath of cards now that I've got access to thanks to my commander. These amazing instant sorceries, I can pick and choose what I want. I can go cast a lot of incredible things and take over the game. Next up, though, potentially my favorite combat damage trigger of all time, Kotis the Fangkeeper has that one. A 2/1 zombie warrior, indestructible for 4 mana in Sultai. Whenever it deals combination to a player, exile the top X cards of their library or X the amount of damage dealt. You may cast any number of spells with mana value X or less among them without paying their mana cost. Basically a massive villainous wealth on a hit, which is insane, which is absurd, which is incredible. Being able to just go, okay, yeah, more power equals more spells. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It is so much fun, and it is a commander that is hard to deal with, again, being indestructible. Swing away, hit away, take advantage of the indestructibility, take advantage of your opponent's cards, take advantage of all the value you're going to be getting. First up, of course, cards like Blackblade Forge are incredible with this commander. +1/+1 for each land you control. Very simple, very effective. If you get more power for your commander, you get more cards off the top of the library when you hit. And of course, again, like the, not risk, but the extra cost of having to pay 3 to equip this, you don't have to do that too many times with this commander in a game because, well, I mean, it is it's a commander that's indestructible, so it's going to be staying around quite a while. Speaking of that, now you can take advantage of auras as well, whereas otherwise you usually wouldn't be able to. An aura that's got flash that enchants creature, this is going to be Indomitable Might for 4 mana. +3/+3. Enchant creature's controller may have it assigned its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. Basically, Thorn Elemental power, essentially. And that is absolutely huge because, again, we just care about getting that damage through. We care about essentially saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, my commander's swinging through. It's indestructible, so you can block however you want. It doesn't matter. It's not going to get taken out. And all of a sudden, it's going to dish out all that damage to you, and I get that Villainous Wealth trigger. Speaking of which, take advantage of board wipes. Now, I will warn you, like I built my very first, Selenia Dark Angel deck when I built that one. I put like 15 plus board wipes in it, which was a mistake on my part because I didn't really realize that that's a no-no. It was early in my commander career. It's a no-no to do that. because players don't like to play against decks that you just wipe the board again and again and again. That being said, if you put a reasonable amount of board wipes in the deck, you're going to be fine, and your player group's going to be okay with it. So yes, again, having a good amount of board wipes in the deck, though, can definitely be beneficial because your commander's indestructible. Your opponent's creatures most likely aren't. Therefore, you're clearing a path for all your creatures, your commander, and your commander will be swinging through and hitting your opponents. It's kind of like a way to grant evasion to your commander as well, all of a sudden, while also controlling the board. Blood Money is a great one. Destroy all creatures for each non-token creature destroyed this way. You create a tap treasure token. This one basically pays for itself and then some, and of course, clears the way for your commander. Now let's switch things up, though, with Tayam, Luminous Enigma, a 3/3 Nightmare Beast for 4 mana. It says, each other creature you control enters the battlefield with additional vigilance counter on it. Nice. Again, already just having that is quite nice, being able to go, okay, vigilance counters, being able to just swing freely, being able to keep my creatures back for blocking, too, that's very nice. But of course, counters have a different meaning for this deck. By paying 3, you move 3 counters from 1 creatures you control, the top 3 cards of your library in your graveyard, then return a permanent card, converting mana cost 3 or less your graveyard to the battlefield. Being able to go, okay, I can remove some counters, and some of those might be bad counters that I actually want to get rid of anyways, essentially. And by doing that, I can actually get extra value by getting things into my graveyard and bringing something back out there. Basically like a converted mana cost 3 or less kind of tribal build with this with counters in mind. And when I was referencing, quote-unquote bad counters, Young Wolf is a great example of this. A simple 1/1 wolf with Undying for a single green mana. Again, Undying means when it dies, it comes back with a +1 counter if it didn't have one. So all of a sudden, being able to go, oh, okay, yeah, you left, you came back, you've got a counter on you. Oh, I can remove that. So then you can leave and come back again with another counter. And then you can leave and come back with another counter. Being able to utilize this is basically a counter engine. Again, basically the +1 counters as well as vigilance counters. That's already 2/3 of the way there for this commander's ability, which is amazing. Or how about Devoted Druid, which can definitely get there again and again and again. 0/2, that can tap for a green. Put a -1 counter on it to untap it. So being able to just go, okay, yeah, tap, untap, get a -1 counter on it, and all of a sudden, again, I can remove that. I also get mana out of this one as well, so it helps pay for my commander's ability too. Definitely some combos you can utilize with this one as well. Or just very simple, very effective, like Mana Gorger Hydra. Yeah, that's already going to be good and fun. A 1/1 Trampling Hydra for 3 mana. Whenever any player casts a spell, you get a counter on it. So being able to just go, okay, you're casting a spell, I'm casting a spell, everyone's casting spells. This gains a lot of counters, and you can just get more and more and more things in play out of your graveyard thanks to your commander's incredible ability. Finally, this is just simply a fun commander that is absolutely incredible and incredibly unique. Karona, False God, a 5/5. I believe it's an avatar. It's a legend at this point. Anyways, for 6 mana in Wooburg, the best color combination. Haste, the beginning of each player's upkeep, the player untaps Karona, False God and gains control of it. Whenever it attacks, creatures of the type of your choice get +3/+3 until end of turn. Now, you can build this one in a lot of different ways. This one, in my opinion, is best built with backgrounds. That's right, backgrounds, because, well, backgrounds can be something that, well, players have to keep track of. And you're going to make this the longest text commander of all time. It's got all the effects, all the abilities, all the things because, well, you're going to get all those backgrounds in play, and they are worded in a very specific way. Let's take a look at Guild Artisan as an example. A background for 2 mana in red. Commander creatures you own have, whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, you create 2 treasure tokens. Again, it does say, commander creatures you own. You own, not you control, you own. Meaning that no matter where Karona goes, and everyone's going to get a turn with Karona, right? Every single turn, everyone gets Karona. All of a sudden, this is going to be, oh, I need to keep track of that. 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 Because you're going to get every single one of your backgrounds out, aren't you? So you're also got a popular entertainer. Creature creatures you own have, whenever one or more creatures you control deal combination player, go target creature that player controls. Again, it is a nightmare to some players, including yourself sometimes, right? To keep track of all the triggers that are happening in Magic. And this commander can be built in a way where you're like, okay, it's got all the triggers in the world, and it's not even your commander, and you've got to pay attention to it because I've got all these backgrounds in play. How about Feywild Visitor? Commander creatures you own have. Whenever one or more non-token creatures you control deal non-combative to a player, You create a 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature summon with flying. Now, with this commander as well, I would also build in some ways to goad, ways to make sure that your opponents are attacking each other, ghostly prison type effects to Pelifort and protect yourself too. But yeah, being able to go like background tribal with Karona is so much fun. And with that, this episode is come to a close. Make sure you comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.